Now, who do we have as our guest today? Well, Anyssa Bohanan is one of our guests, and she went through the program a few years ago and went out to the Far East, if I recall correctly. I think a teacher of the English language at some point, and she can give it a better understanding later when she's talking, but I think she went to Korea. Am I right? Nod your head if I'm right. Korea, yeah.
That's right.
And was and was teaching out there, and then she came back stateside, and Bend, Oregon was MMJ for the Central Oregon Daily, and did that for a while, and just recently, within the past few months, yes, during pandemic, made a cross-country move from Oregon to Florida. And now she's at NBC2 in Fort Myers, Florida. And that is on the western side, the Gulf side of Florida, about, I don't know, I'd estimate 60 miles south of Tampa, somewhere in there. And then we have Malik Mingo. Bless his heart. Thank you for coming on. I didn't know if Anyssa was going to make it because she told me, I've got a live shot. So I thought, oh no, what are we going to do? And Malik graciously agreed to join us too tonight. And he has been in the program as well, and worked for a while in Texas, worked his way up to a bigger market. That's often the way you do it. You go to a smaller market like Bend, Oregon, and you go to a bigger market like Fort Myers, or you go, I think it was Amarillo. What was the small market for Malik?
It was San Angelo market.
San Angelo, yeah, San Angelo. There you go. It was San Angelo, and now he's in his hometown of New Orleans. He is in the Big Easy, and he and both of them now are going. They're in Hurricane Alley. I mean, it's crazy. So those are our guests today, and again, I'm just so happy to see them both, seeing them well, and in their cars. In case you came late, you may not realize it because they are such busy people. Anyssa just coming off of a live shot for the newscast, and Malik, he's in the mornings usually, but they are in the cars right now to talk with us about their lives, about their contributions to broadcast journalism. Anyssa, I'm going to ask you to take the stage for just a few minutes here, and then I'll go to Malik and ask you if I more or less have an accurate setup there for you in terms of how you have proceeded to Fort Myers. So talk to us.
Yeah, that's right. So I graduated in 2013, which feels like forever ago now, and then moved to South Korea. I taught English there for 2 years because I was like, I'm going to put that English minor to good use. I paid all this money. I'm going to go ahead and do it. Had the best time, came back and, wanted to jump back into journalism. And I got the job at Central Oregon Daily, which was the ABC and CBS affiliate in Bend, Oregon, market 186, all the way down there. And it was amazing. I was there for 4 years. And in that time, I was MMJ reporter, anchor, producer, you name it. When you're at small markets like that, it just it works out that way very commonly. And then, you're right, in the middle of a pandemic, I got a phone call sometime, I want to say the end of July, and it's my now assistant news director. And he says, hey, how do you feel about moving to Florida? And I just thought, I don't ever want to see snow again. And I think I'm okay with that. I think I'll go ahead and move across the country in the middle of a pandemic, a few weeks before an election, to a hotspot. And it's been, so far, I think I've been here a little over a month now. It's been about a month and a half, and I've already been through a tropical storm, an election, a pandemic. It's, you name it, it has been everything, but it's just been such a great time. My live shot tonight actually wasn't even all that exciting. The boat show is coming back to Fort Myers, brings a lot of money and people here. So I was out there lounging on a boat like a Kardashian for a little bit. It was pretty great.
Very good. Now, Malik, I want to ask you how you wound up in New Orleans. You got to go back to the hometown area, and you're a host, I think, of a show called let's see, Great Day Louisiana. Is that right?
That is right, Dr. England. Yeah, first of all, hello, everybody. Shout out to all of you. 5 to 5:50. I remember the class very well. TV news. Also, I think I see Dr. Kneecap in there. Hey,
Yeah. I think I saw
video
it.
production in the house. So much fun. Yeah, so like you were saying, I graduated in 2017, so almost 3 years ago, or 3 years ago now. And I was so excited to just apply for jobs because I'm like, I did all these internships, I did all this stuff on campus. I hope I thrived in TV news, right? And I was ready to start applying for jobs. I wanted to be a producer because my mantra in college was, in order to be good in front of the scenes, I need to learn how to be good behind the scenes, right? Which is still my mantra. And so I was applying to producer jobs, right? And I was applying to 5 jobs a day for 2 months straight, interviewing all over the country. I had a job offer in Illinois, Pennsylvania, Florida, but I really wanted to start out in Texas. And it was about May 2017, a month before I graduated, that I got a call from my then news director saying, hey, we have a producer opening. Would you like to interview for it? I was in Alkek Library. I used to work at the library. I was in no way ready for that interview. But I'm like, Malik, opportunities don't come like this all the time. Just go in the stairwell and do the interview. So I did it, right? And all that to say, I got the job, woohoo, moved out to San Angelo, which is about 3.5 hours away from San Marcos, right? Market 198, which I'm sure Dr. England has taught you all about market size. You know, that is where you start off, just like our other panelists here. You really have to start off small, right? She was in the 180s, I was in the 190s, and I was a producer out there. But around 3 months into producing, my news director was like, I really want to see you on air. I said, are you crazy? Like, I'm not ready. He's like, just try it. Let's do a dry run, do a package, you know, front it, and we're going to see how the community reacts to you. And I said, oh, all right, good luck. And it ended up doing very well. I ended up getting an on-air position about 3 months into my first year there, right? And then I was covering hard news, you know, stabbings, city government news, right? Hard news. But I wasn't really happy doing hard news. I felt that my passions lied more in the lifestyle entertainment era. So I decided to move to the morning show, switch my entire shift from doing nightside reporting, 2 p.m. to 11 a.m. to then 4 a.m. to noon. And I did the morning reporting thing for quite a while. I started a really popular segment called Meals with Malik, first name Malik, where I would go and profile different restaurants. And through doing all that stuff and having that social media success, I was then ready to move on to my next opportunity. And I was applying to all these different jobs, just like I did the first time. And one of the jobs I didn't actually apply to was the job that I host now. So what do I do now? I'm in New Orleans, which I made 150 market jump, so now I'm in the top 50. So 198 to now top 50. And I host a lifestyle entertainment show called Great Day Louisiana on the CBS affiliate here. And basically we talk about everything that makes New Orleans great, whether it's a new restaurant, a new bar, events when they were happening, as well as many other things. Like on today's show, I talked about a computer class that's happening for people who may fall on the autism spectrum. Tomorrow, I'm interviewing a pizza place. We made drinks the other day. And it's just been so much fun to be able to do all of that. So I've always wanted to be a talk show host, right? Do that type of thing. And I'm lucky that in my 3 years that I've been in the industry that I've gotten to accomplish that. And yes, I have Texas State to thank for that. What?
Oh, great, Malik. Thank you. Now, if Dr. Niekamp, if you're still present, I would like you to have an opportunity to ask a question of either Anyssa or Malik. I can't see the screen to see who's on right this moment. Oh, there he is. Hello, Ray.
Hello.
Yeah, fire away. Have an opportunity here to talk to our guests today.
Anyssa, you know, I'd heard that you went out to Bend, and you were always described as working for this Central Oregon newspaper thing, but we're doing video as well. How does that work these days?
So sorry, you guys, my video isn't off because I don't want to be seen. I'm on the move through the building. basically, Central Oregon Daily was just kind of the name, the overarching name of our station for the ABC and CBS affiliate that was there. They started it up about 3 months before I got there, so I had no say in it. And when I got there, I said, do you know we sound like a newspaper? And they said, yes, we know. But by then, we had already started it up. So, you know, we just kind of stuck with it. But it did make it a little bit easier, I will say, whenever we were reporting for either station, because now I'm with the ABC and NBC affiliate. And sometimes I have to say, you know, and this is for ABC7, and I'll mix it up and forget that I'm on NBC or what have you. So just having to say Central Oregon Daily was actually kind of nice.
I have a question for you in this. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Ray.
No, I was just going to ask, in Fort Myers, you're with what, WBBH or Wink?
It's WBBH and WZNZ. So not Wink, but we're under Waterman Broadcasting.
Okay, my father lived in Fort Myers for a few years, so I'm familiar with the market.
Oh, no way. Also, it's so good to see you. Hello.
That's also close to Cape Coral, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah.
So actually, the marketing viewing area is, yeah, Fort Myers, Cape Coral, Naples, you name it. It's all of the above.
Well, I want to encourage my students, as I said earlier, please give me some questions that I can have you relay to our guest. Let's see here. And Cameron, thank you for chiming in on that note. What were some of the challenges moving from smaller markets to considerably larger markets? Yeah, those seemed appropriate questions because they've definitely done that, going from 180 to 190 to Fort Myers and to New Orleans. And Malik, why don't you take that question?
It was definitely eye-opening. I think Anyssa could say that as well, you know, because like she was saying earlier, when you're in these smaller markets, you have to do it all. You have to, you know, shoot it, write it, edit it, do all of that. And when you're able to move up to these other markets, these higher markets, you're then able to work on the craft that you want to work on more. So like me, I want to be, you know, a front person, right? So I've been so lucky to be able to learn from these people. And when you move up, you also meet people who have been in the industry forever. So like all three of my producers, 30 years, 10 years, and 10 years at the same station. While if you go to a smaller market, you don't necessarily see that. So definitely just learning the area, trying to work with people who really are established at the station, and you know, just try to learn how to pronounce everything, because the words, especially in New Orleans, are something else.
But wait, I thought that was your home area.
It is, but sometimes if you don't use it, you lose it, right?
Okay,
So,
I get it.
For example, here we all know it as burgundy, right?
Yeah.
The color burgundy, but pronounced in New Orleans, it's burgundy.
All right. Well, that is so true, though, what you said about being prepared to go on live or go on with your first reporting. You've got to know the place names. You've got to get familiar with where you are, the environment you're in, if you're going to have any credibility. You know, if you start mispronouncing names, you're in a heap of trouble already with getting, you know, along with people in the market. I want to ask this question of Anyssa, and it can also apply to Malik. But in our class, we just don't have that many opportunities to go live on the scene. We don't have the tools and technologies to make it so yet. So I want to know, and I bring it back to Anyssa for this reason as well, because I know today you had a live shot to worry about. How was that first one for you? How did you get yourself braced for that very first one, when you had to take that leap of faith that you could pull this off to do that live shot and hang it together? Anyssa, are you still there and can take that?
So let me tell you guys this. I said my own name completely wrong on my very first live shot. I said my name was Anyssa Bohanan. I was so nervous. I'm not kidding. That is a real story. That is a real story. So you know what? It's only up from there, right? So I think the biggest thing now that I'm almost 5 years into it, when it comes to live shots, I used to always be so on top of trying to memorize my script or, you know, the words that I was going to say. And I would sit there and go, okay, you know, Sally ran here and then did this and then did this. But I would, you know, if you forget a detail or forget a word in your little memorized script, sometimes it really throws you off. And so I would say the biggest thing that I've learned has been to have just kind of talking points. So for example, I just did a live shot about a house fire not that long ago. I want to say like last week. There was no way that I was going to write out a whole script that said the house started burning at 6:32 p.m. and then did this and then did this. No, what you want to do is show the people what you're looking at. So I think that's obviously the most important part of a live shot. What can you show people? You don't want to just be standing there live in the middle of a field and just kind of go, here I am. You know, it's important to bring people onto that scene. They're not there with you, and you want them to feel like they're there with you. I completely agree, Malik, with the trying to figure out names. There's a Caloosahatchee River here and a Lake Okeechobee, and trying to learn how to say those things before I did a live shot so that everyone in the area didn't know I was a noob was just so much pressure. But now I found that I really enjoy, I used to be terrified of doing live shots. I really enjoy doing breaking news live shots now for all the reasons that I mentioned, just kind of being able to go, here I am, we're looking at this, look over there, it smells like smoke, there's 52 cop cars here, et cetera, et cetera. So, but I'll never forget Anyssa Bohanan live in downtown Bend.
Malik, do you have a similar story?
Yeah, everything from they take me live and I'm not even in front of the camera yet to, you know, like I'm saying I'm on this street and I'm actually not even on a street. It really does happen a lot. And that's what's so great about being in these smaller markets, because you get to learn so that when you do go to a Fort Myers, a New Orleans, or wherever you all would like to go, you're more ready to handle it. You're still going to do it. You're still going to make mistakes, right? But, you know, you're better at, because I always say to tell the people when I speak to them, the biggest thing about television, it isn't about the mistake you make, but how you recover from that mistake. Keep moving it forward. That's what it's all about. Because like I do a 1-hour talk show by myself live every single day. At some point, I'm going to say something wrong, right? You know, so you just recover and you keep moving. That's the biggest thing that I learned about being live. Just keep going.
Very good.
And sometimes I will say that viewers actually kind of like that when you make little mistakes, because it makes you seem a little bit more human. I'll say, oh, you know, excuse me, what I meant to say was this. And then, yeah, you're right, Malik. You just keep on rolling along. No need to beat yourself up. You got another 30 seconds to go. Right.
And they'll forget. You'll be live again tomorrow.
Have another chance. You get up there and step up at it next time, right? Hey, I'm going to now let one of our students come on board. So unmute your mic, Sydney Tyndall. Unmute your mic, turn on your camera. I'm going to let you ask the next question that I see on our chat room here.
Okay, thank you, the two of you, for coming on here and talking to us. But I just want to ask, what is something that the two of you wish you knew while you were students at Texas State that could have helped you in your career and your journeys where you guys are now?
Because there was a moment where I was getting so discouraged, and this is definitely to the seniors out there who may be applying to jobs right now, especially during this pandemic. Don't get discouraged, right? If you're not getting the call back, you're not getting what you want, you know, as far as finding a job or getting a call for an interview, just don't get discouraged and keep on going. Also, what I wish I would have did that I did not learn until after when I was interviewing for the job I have now, when people reach out to you, say you apply somewhere and you don't want to go to Peoria, Illinois, that's where I almost went for my first job. Take the interview and go through the interview, because at the end of the day, that's going to teach you how to be a better interviewer, so that when you do get to the station or you do get the interview with the station that you want, you can then be better prepared to answer any question that they throw at you. But I know how it is, and you too, homegirl, in Fort Myers, like you can get discouraged really easy when trying to find a job, but don't get discouraged. Keep on applying. What is for you is for you.
Absolutely. Could
Yeah.
not agree more. And what I'll also say on top of that is I really wish that I had just asked more questions, especially when I had internships. I was so shy. Like, I just didn't want to get in people's way. I was like, these are people, this is somebody's real job. I don't want to get in the way. I don't really want to, but if I had just asked a few more questions or like made some more connections, I feel like it would have helped me a lot more in the long run. Of course, I was still going to make mistakes, but I remember one tidbit that from a job shadowing opportunity that was one day years ago now. To this day, I remember it. It was a car driving by, and the photog that was with me said, "This will make a great natural wipe for another shot." And I would have never known that. I would have never even thought about that. To this day, I remember that. And so I would say literally ask questions and grab onto even little tiny bits of information like that. And that applies for people that don't want to be on air as well. Ask that producer, why did you do that? Ask, because at the end of the day, they know you're an intern. They started where you are. They know that you want to succeed, and they absolutely want to help you do that. They may seem a little gruff about it, but we're not in television news because we don't like to talk to people or because we're humble. So, ask those questions and talk to people.
Yeah, because we're all about, trying to help people. And to piggyback off of what she said, completely agree. And I know for me, when I was in TV news, I was like, Dr. England ain't teaching us everything we need to know. Dr. England taught you everything that you need to know. Take it all in. I'm telling you, writing the packages, getting a camera and going and get the shots, even though y'all are doing it on your phones these days, which we do as well. Really take in what Dr. England is teaching you in TV news, because look, the game may look different, but it's the same. It's
all the same.
It's all the same. I promise, it's all the same.
Aileen Polanco, it's your turn. So unmute your mic, turn on your camera. Let's hear what you have to ask at this point.
Hi. So my question is specifically for Malik. I did an internship with the lifestyle show, and I just was kind of wondering, because I got to see a lot of what the hosts did and how they kind of worked with producing and doing that. So I was just wondering, like, with you, do you just host? Do you have to write your own stories? Do you have to produce the stories? Do you have to reach out to people yourselves to get them to come on the show? Or kind of how does that process work for you?
First, what lifestyle show was it?
It was San Antonio Living.
Well, I interned at Daytime at 9 with Kimberly and Esteban, but I love Shelly Miles, and Denise Cabello is my girl.
I actually started at Daytime.
Okay.
I started at Daytime, and then they lost an intern, so they moved me to San Antonio Living. So
Got it. Well, I will say that was a great internship. I learned the good and the bad, right? Interning there. So really, really cool. For me, what was your question, girl? I forgot. I was so excited when I found out you interned there. What was your question? Oh, writing the stuff. I remember.
Yeah.
When I was in San Angelo, I had to do it all. I had to find the guests, write it up, front it, all of that. Now that I'm in a higher market, I have a team of producers, 3 producers who will write it. They will write a draft, and then I will basically either rewrite it or add a few things to make it sound like I would say it, But as far as booking guests, it really is a collaboration between me and my 3 producers. We're all looking at things. Oh, I just went to this restaurant. They should be on the show. They're great. Oh, I just went to this event when they were happening. Try this. We should have them on the show next year, So it's a collaboration of really just getting out there in the community and having your ear on what's happening, what's popular, and what do we think is going to be informative, but also entertaining.
Okay,
Very good.
Thank you.
I'm going to relay the next question, and it's from Reagan Thompson. And he asked both of you, what is your favorite part of the job?
I think my favorite part is becoming an expert on something in 6 hours every single day. It's like a perfect example. We had a story just like a week ago about green algae buildup in this community where it commonly happens. I moved here from Oregon. I have no idea about what green algae is or how it's affected that community or what they're going to do next. And so my favorite part is starting the day going, okay, I don't really know what this is, but I'm going to learn. And then by your 5 o'clock live hit that night, not only are you an expert and know everything that's happened since 1994 in this neighborhood, but I'm going to tell you about it for 30 seconds and then with a minute 10 package. So I think that's definitely my favorite part. And also, you know, definitely going to a restaurant that they recommend.
Like she was saying, I completely agree with that. You get to learn so many more things so much faster than if we were like think about it. If you were like an accountant moving to a new city, right? You wouldn't be able to meet all the wonderful people that we get to meet because we're in this business. I get to learn so much every single day, and it's just such a great opportunity. If you're a curious individual, this is the job for you, because I can be making drinks here, then cooking over here, then learning how to knit over here, doing all of this in one day. So it's the curiosity for me, getting to learn so many new things so much faster than if I just was like a doctor, right? Moving to a city where I know nobody. You get to meet people.
Leah Lanfear, unmute your mic if you would. Make yourself visible. Let's hear your question.
I was curious if you felt that your education or if your internships were more beneficial for you getting a foot in the door for your first job.
For me specifically, no, but not in terms of getting my first job, but down the line, making connections with other people who could then down the line help me out with that, I would say. And also just in general with the amount of things that I learned from people. Like, I didn't know that you're going to spend most of your day in a live truck. Typically, you know, you don't learn those things really until you're there and in the moment with people. So yeah, I'm not as helpful as I'm sure Malik might be.
I think that, first of all, in my opinion, I think that the number one resource that you have is yourself. If you're going to go into this specific industry, you need to have confidence in yourself, because it is a very competitive industry, because it's such a rewarding industry. You're getting to tell people stories. You're getting to tell people what's going on. So I think first things first, you have to be confident in yourself. The education really does help. Like I said earlier, TV news is what the game is. Yes, there's a few other things that you will learn on the job, but at its core, writing, finding a story, setting up an interview, writing the package, editing the package. Now, I don't know how it's working these days with the whole COVID going on, but having 2 weeks, I think it was when I was in Dr. England, to turn over one package. No, we have, and Anyssa knows this too, 1 day, a couple of hours, you know.
You got to do it fast.
And if something's breaking, forget what you were working on. You're going to that house fire. You're going to that stabbing, you know. So yes, education is important. Internships are also important. The reason why I got my first job was because one of the people who, my then news director, also worked at the station I interned at. So when he saw those call letters on my resume, he was like, oh, I know they taught him something, so let me give this guy a chance. But it all stems back to you believing in yourself. You have to believe that you can get into this industry, which you all can. Don't let no one else tell you different. Believe in yourself, apply for those jobs, and the rest will fall into place.
All right, Azul, let's see. I see you come up next here. If you would make yourself known, let's hear from you, please, what your question is.
Sorry for the background noise. My question is, what advice do you give us students when looking for our first job in news, and what are some tips for us to succeed?
Know what you want to do, but also know that in news, you want to learn as much as you can. So like for me, I wanted to be a producer at first, but when I got to the station that I was at first, I saw how much fun the on-air talent is. Not to say that producers, directors, you know, production assistants, all of the people behind the scenes, I always kind of say it really is a 60-40. It's 60%, well, we'll do 50-50. It's 50-50. The people behind the scenes are the people who really are doing the grunt work, right? They are really trying to make a whole newscast, a whole talk show work and flow. And then your talent then comes in and brings it all together, right? My advice for you is to know what you want to do, but also understand that your first job isn't always going to be what you want to do, but it may be what you need to do in order to get to what you want to do. So keep on pushing forward. Keep on reaching out to people. I hated going to these things in college. When they would have guest speakers come in, I was like, oh, here we go. But what I have realized, and this is why I like to do this a lot, is what they're saying is so true. So when there are guest speakers, really try to listen to them, because we're in the industry now and we've learned a lot of things, and people who do these things like me and homegirl, I just like calling it homegirl over at Fort Myers, we can help you all out, get your foot in the door a little bit easier. Of course we're gonna wanna do that, because you don't wanna do necessarily what we did, right? Making $2 an hour, you know, looking for food all the time. So reach out to your guest speakers, know what you want to do, but also understand that it's not necessarily the end of the world if you don't get your dream job as your first job.
Yeah, I would just add on to that, just really be open, kind of like Malik was saying, to, you know, you might not get that job immediately in LA, maybe you will, but it's important to look at every job as a stepping stone. And of course, that don't get discouraged is so incredibly real. I can't even tell you how many applications I sent out, how many non-phone calls I got, how many things that I was like, oh, I thought I would be great for this. But like Malik was saying earlier, if it's not meant for you, it is just not meant for you. What I would also add is that, you know, research whatever station that you are applying for. If you do get that interview, they get so impressed. They love it. News directors, assistant news directors, whoever, when you're like, oh, and also I really enjoyed that story that you guys did X, Y, and Z, because inevitably they're going to ask, well, why do you want to come here? And if it's just, you know, oh, I just want to be in New York. Well, I mean, that's a real answer, but also this station specifically does longer format stories, or I like the way that you guys have this set up, you know, et cetera, et cetera. So I would say be ready for the interview, whether it comes or not. Don't be discouraged if it doesn't come.
So you haven't had an internship. That's okay. You have a phone. Go out there, do some stand-ups, fake it, child, fake it. Because at the end of the day, they ain't gonna know that it was not really on fire. They ain't gonna know all that, but you're gonna look really good when you put it together. For my on-air people, get that reel together. And I know in TV news, that's actually what the final project is, to have that reel. Use that reel, send that out to jobs. They're going to know. News directors have been in the business for quite a while. They were the same way. They're going to know that if they're getting someone out of college, it's not going to be all the way polished. It's not going to be necessarily all these great visual stand-ups like you see on the television now. Work on those reels. And I completely agree with Anyssa said about the stepping stones. When I came to WWL, I did not know that Hoda Kotb, you know, co-anchor of the Today Show, was the main anchor at that station for 12 years. And she went from New Orleans to NBC News. So it's really cool to work with people who worked with her, hear how she got to where she got. I got to sit in her chair. Like, that's all I needed. That's all I needed. I felt it. That's all I needed.
Well, now it sounds like to me, both of you, you're still aspiring. You know, you've got a job you like right now. You're going to learn what you're doing. You're going to make your craft even better. I know you are, but I have a feeling both of you look up there and go, that's what I want to do. And you're talking the way you were just now, Malik. It's just to me that maybe with NBC Network, but anyway, do you have aspirations beyond where you are? I mean, talk about your ambitions.
Go ahead. I think in this industry, it's always good to always be wanting to go even higher, right? Never get comfortable.